what's going on, guys? So we're changing things up a little bit with the channel, and you'll see further in this video exactly what we're doing and why we're doing it. But we are currently at that guy, Best Buy, and we bought something. Now this always usually ends up happening every time I go to Best Buy, but there is very good reason as to why exactly we're doing this, and very good reason for the channel. If you guys are not aware, when we started the channel, it was on a GoPro. Now, being that we were on a GoPro, let's see if we can get this music out of here so we don't get demonetized. When we were on the GoPro, it was the original Hero, which was the Hero 4, which was the lowest end model, blah, blah, blah. I hated it. I hated the audio, I hated the video, it was terrible. Now we got a Hero 7 Black, so I think we're gonna be okay. So now I'm gonna charge this thing up. We're gonna do a vlog with it today. We may do some moto vlogging, because if you can see outside. Alright guys, so like I was saying before I was so rudely interrupted by the brand new battery that I didn't charge but expected it to perform, we're changing it up a little bit. We started off on a GoPro Hero, the very cheap one, the $149 one. Then we went to a GoPro Session, which is now on the floor. And we dipped in a little bit of cell phone stuff and everything else, and then we turned around and we bought that guy. So that is a Canon M50 with a Joby, a Rode Video Micro, flip out screen, and it was great, except for the fact that once I figured out what it was that I was going to be filming, I realized that I can't fit that giant camera up inside wheel wells, and I can't fit it in engine bays, and I can't fit it in interiors, and I can't throw it on the dash and take a ride in a car that I just fixed. So the Hero 7 Black came out, and it's been getting really, really good reviews. The audio is supposedly a lot better, and you can add an external microphone if need be. And also the video, the 4K, the stabilized, the everything else is great. Now this thing actually films in 4K without an issue. It also films in 1080p, which is what I do most of my videos at, but this one I can film in 4K 60, and then I can down-res it to 1080p, and it'll be a much, I don't want to say nicer video, but it'll be definitely very nice. And I can take this camera everywhere. It's waterproof. It's got a super wide-angle lens on it, which is great for capturing all the stuff that I need. And I think it'll be great for doing all the mechanical stuff. It captures welding really well. So these things are great. I can control it from my cell phone, so I can put it across the room, control it from my cell phone. It's got replaceable batteries, the whole 9 yards. So we're going to be switching over to strictly GoPros. And then, of course, we have the rig on the helmet, which is basically a Sony that a subscriber sent, which is really super cool. And as soon as I figure out who that subscriber was, because he sent it to me last year, then we'll make sure that we give credit where credit is due. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed the new GoPro video. And I hope you enjoyed the Motovlog. You know, it's something I've wanted to try for a while. So yeah, a little bit of an update to the channel. So if you guys want, that stuff is going to be for sale. The Canon M50 with the Rode Video Micro. Still have the original box. I gotta find the manual for it, but it comes with everything you need. It's a straight vlogging setup. I have brand new batteries, brand new charger, plus the factory battery, so you got 3 batteries with it. And it's a great camera. The focus is amazing on it. It's got great controls. It'd be perfect for someone who's just starting out vlogging. So if you're interested in that, DM me on Instagram. Let me know you're interested in it. I'll shoot you a price, and maybe we can work out a deal. So all right guys, so welcome to the very first moto vlog on the CBR. I know we did kind of a BS one on the Ducati, but the day is beautiful. It's about 90 degrees here in Connecticut, which for this time of year is a little weird because it was 40 the other day. So we got some good weather. We're going to take a quick ride because the humidity's up, and oh, we gotta strap that. Humidity's up, so it's a little uncomfortable, but we're gonna take a quick ride up to a place that I used to go to all the time when I was a kid, and I think you guys will enjoy it. So hopefully you'll be able to hear everything, this microphone and the bike running and all that other wonderful stuff. I think I got the microphone stuff sorted out. I just got to make sure that I'm not yelling because it's quite loud. But yeah, so I think today what we're going to talk about on the way there is a new fad that I've been seeing lately with the fabrication world. So one of the things that was always very interesting was when I first started TIG welding, nobody was doing it. And the reason mostly that nobody was doing it is because the equipment is extremely expensive, or was extremely expensive. But now you can buy a TIG welder, a DC TIG welder, for, you know, 350 bucks. And now everybody seems to think that they are a TIG welder and that they are a masterful TIG welder. Well, I'm going to tell you a little story, something that happened to me recently. And even though I've been welding for years and years, we all make mistakes, and I made one. So I welded a up pipe for a Subaru with a twin scroll turbo, and I had to do a single wastegate, which means that I had to bring the two divided sections of the up pipe together and, you know, weld everything together, weld in a wastegate flange and a few other odds and ends. And we did that, and I cleaned the pipe up, cleaned the interior of the pipe up, got all the burrs out of it, everything nice. Well, gave it back to the customer, which happens to be a good friend of mine, luckily. And he put everything together, put the turbo in his car, started the car, was driving it around, and realized that he wasn't making any boost. Well, under further investigation, when he pulled the turbo off, he found that there was a piece of metal stuck in the exhaust wheel. And that piece of metal that was stuck in the exhaust wheel actually came from the up pipe that I just built. So unfortunately, it destroyed the exhaust wheel on the turbo, and we had to cover that. And that was a, you know, not necessarily an oversight, but something that I missed. I should have ground down the seams a little bit better and, you know, whatever else. But once that metal heated up, it broke off and it shot right up into the turbo. Everything else was mint, with the exception of right where the two pieces of pipe merged together. There was a very thin piece of metal that I should have caught, but I didn't. And things like that happen. Now, why I tell you that story is I've been welding for, I would say, 20 years. MIG welding for all of that 20, TIG welding for about the last 5 or 6, and I still, every day, make mistakes. Whether it be not enough purge, too much purge, wrong size filler rod, I still make mistakes on a daily basis. And I would consider myself not necessarily a pro by any means, but at least proficient in what I'm doing, and my customers also think so. Now, when you can go to Harbor Freight or Amazon or any one of those, and you can buy a welder, TIG welder, for 350 bucks and just start welding away on metal, that's great. I encourage that if you're welding on your own stuff. What I've been seeing a massive influx of as of late is people are going and buying welders and then opening up shop for business and telling them that they're, you know, been welding forever and they know exactly what they're doing. But unfortunately, that is not the case, because I've been seeing a lot of influx of horribly welded pipes, horribly welded suspension components, horribly welded, you name it. Now, that wouldn't be a problem normally, except for the fact that most of these people that are doing this are not willing to take criticism. They're extremely unwilling to take criticism, as a matter of fact. And with that being said, they're not improving, because they are stuck to the way that they know how to do it, and the way that they know how to do it is the way that I have to keep fixing. So, if I had a word of advice to give to all of you, is if you're going to buy a welder, a MIG welder, TIG welder, stick welder, whatever you decide to buy, if you're planning in the future to be working on customer vehicles and building stuff for other people other than yourself, make sure that you're either taking courses, make sure that you have practiced and messed up your own stuff enough times to know that you can trust yourself with a customer vehicle. Because you gotta remember, guys, these aren't just average everyday cars. You're not just doing a brake job on these things. You're potentially welding a piece of suspension that's on a car that's going down the track at 165, 170 miles an hour. You're potentially putting someone's life at risk when you've not built that car properly and when you've not welded something properly, especially when it comes to suspension components and engine mounts and engine swaps and all that other stuff. And that's the very worst case scenario. The very easy scenario is like what just happened to me, where, you know, I missed a burr and that burr ruined the turbo and we had to eat the cost of the turbo. So stuff like that happens. I mean, we're human. You're never going to stop mistakes from happening. You can learn from your mistakes and not let that particular mistake happen again, but you will definitely make another one. But what I'm seeing now is, you know, upper and lower control arms that have been welded and extended and completely messed with, and the geometry is all off because the fabrication wasn't done right, and, you know, the welds are very cold and the beads are real tall and there's absolutely zero strength in anything. And, you know, I'm even seeing structural members of vehicles being cut and re-welded, and because the individual who bought the welder at Harbor Freight has no knowledge of how fabrication and structural engineering works, they've cut a chunk of the structure out of a vehicle and not replaced it with anything, and not reinforced it, and not done anything to circumvent breakage or warpage or bending or anything like that. And ultimately, I mean, like I said, you know, these may be road-going cars, which road-going cars aren't under the same stresses as a track car. But when you've got a car that's at the drag strip that makes, you know, 5, 6, 7, 800 horsepower, is running 9 and 10 second quarter miles at 125, 130 miles an hour in a straight line, when that person hits those brakes, they need to be there. When they launch that car, it needs to not throw a control arm out from underneath it. When they are driving that thing to and from the track, which a lot of guys do because they can't afford a truck and trailer, you're putting their lives at risk. So please, guys, if you're listening to this at all and you're interested in welding at all, make damn sure that you know what you're doing before you start working on someone else's car. It will save you a lot of headache. It will save the person's car you're working on a lot of headache. It may even save someone's life. And you know what? For your first couple of actual customer jobs, find yourself a local fabricator that can at least examine your work and check it out to make sure that it's okay. When I first started MIG welding, there was a company right down the street from my current house, not current house, but my house that I was living in at the time. They were a bunch of great guys. They owned a welding shop and everything else, and they were fabricators, and they did structural steel and stuff like that. So when I first started MIG welding, I took some samples of what I was doing down to them, and they would give me tips and tricks on, you know, what to do differently, what to do better, and that helped me significantly. And then when I started TIG welding, I did the same thing. You know, I contacted Jody from Weldmonger and WeldingTipsAndTricks.com. I talked to him. I reached out to several online welding personalities that could potentially give me information. I watched a ton of videos, did a ton of my own research, spoke with a lot of people in my local welding shop, and just in general did a lot of research before I actually started welding other people's stuff. And it worked out really, really well. You know, it's just something that you have to take into account when you're thinking about a career in welding, and that, you know, the job you do could potentially be putting someone's life at risk, and you may hold that responsibility in your hands, especially if you do something horribly wrong. So just kind of a food for thought on that. That's, you know, one of the things that I've been seeing a ton lately is just, you know, the randomness of garbage that comes through the shop that I have to fix, or You know, even cars that I'm just doing mechanical stuff on, I'm seeing a lot of like bogus welding that goes on with it. But yeah, so guys, make sure you know what you're doing before you touch somebody else's car. You could potentially kill somebody, and that's no bueno. So alright, so I'm from that. We're at Lifestar. I don't know if you guys can see that, but this is my old stomping grounds. We used to work for a store called Paul's Market, and this is a Resco Superette. That was the main competitor. Paul's Market's right up the street here. A couple little delis. For those of you that didn't know, when I was in high school, I worked for a deli for a while, and actually quite enjoyed that. Had a really good time working there. The owner was super spectacular, and this is kind of the area, the east side, where I grew up, and had a lot of fun around here. Tons and tons of stuff. A lot of good friends live around here still. Actually bought their parents' houses and stuff like that. So where we're actually going is a spot that I used to go to when I was in high school a lot, and I would go there a ton because it was just a great place to chill out. And you guys will see it in a couple of minutes, but that actually right in front of us there is Nathan Hale Elementary School. That was my elementary school. And we'll actually be running out of gas soon, because the gas light just came on, so we're gonna have to get some of that in a minute. But grew up right around here. As a matter of fact, this next street coming up on your right hand side, right there, Brett Drive. I lived up at the top of that street in a little cul-de-sac up there. So that was where I initially grew up before I moved. Love this whole area. Such a nice little area to grow up in. It's since, like anything, gone downhill quite significantly from what I hear, but at one point it was a great place. And I think we're actually going to cruise down and get some gas before we hit where we're going to, because it's blinking 000. We don't want to get stuck, and you know how it goes. It's that last quarter mile that'll kill you every single time. So I'm gonna rip on down B Street here. Gotta have a little fun every now and then, you know. I don't like to speed much, but I do like to accelerate like a you know what. Yeah, so hopefully that was stupid. Why do I always accelerate when I'm almost out of gas? Does that make any sense to you guys? That commuter lot up there, I don't know if you saw that quick, but that commuter lot up there was one of our hangout spots when we were in high school. We used to get, you know, 30, 40 people together and hang out up there. Did a lot of unsavory things, as most high school children do, but we had fun. We didn't hurt anybody. You know, we kind of kept to ourselves and whatever else. And we're coming up on a main drag through the east side of Meriden, which is East Main Street. That'll be up here shortly. A little mobile gas station. We'll get some gas. Happy we made it. Well, look at that. Want to race? Oh my god, there was two of them. She had one in tow. Did you see that? Meriden never ceases to amaze lately, especially. It's been quite an interesting place to be. We're gonna get some gas, so I'll shut this off. Alright guys, so that wasn't too bad. 13 bucks, 3.5 gallons. We did about 150-ish miles. So, really not too shabby. So what's 3.5 divided by 150? Or 150 divided by 3.5? Something like almost 50 miles to that gallon. That's not too shabby. Start driving this instead of my 11 mile per gallon freaking BMW. just more economical. Alrighty, let's see. I wonder if we can still go around the back of the building like we used to be able to. Oh yeah, we're golden. Get out of here and head to our initial destination. Yeah, so we're on the CBR, like I had said earlier, and for those of you that don't know, I used to have a BMW S1000RR. Somebody decided they wanted it more than I did and didn't want to pay for it. So they came and snatched it out of my garage. And luckily it was an S1000 with very low mileage, so here, look at this, guys, look. She's actually towing her daughter. That is the funniest thing I've ever seen in my life. But yeah, somebody decided they wanted it more than me, so I ended up getting that Ducati that you guys saw in a few videos. And to be honest with you, I always wanted to own a Ducati. I thought they were super cool. Problem with it was, you couldn't cruise on that bike. Even though it was a monster, it wasn't a Panigale or anything, it was just a monster, you still couldn't cruise on it. I mean, it was supposed to be designed as sort of a street fighter slash cruiser type thing, and unless you were pushing that thing to its limit every single minute you were riding it, it was not enjoyable whatsoever. So, barely put any miles on it last season, and then my buddy Jimmy had this thing. He was just going to flip it because he's a Kawasaki guy. And I owned several CBRs years ago and decided that, you know, hey, he wants to sell the Ducati. It might be an easier sell than a CBR. There's not too many people are buying these things. And so we worked out a trade. Traded them straight up. Ducati for the CBR, which, oddly enough, this is an 08 CBR 1000RR. And it has the same exact book value that my 2013 Ducati had. So figure that one out. There's actually no rhyme or reason why the Ducati, which was like 17 or 18 grand new, should cost, you know, the exact same amount as a bike that's 5 years older. So it was kind of weird, but I didn't pay that much for it. And you know, so we did a straight up trade, which was really, really cool. So we ended up both making out. He was able to sell the Ducati for more than he was going to get for the CBR. I was able to get the CBR, which I truly enjoy these things very much. Just random people pulling over wherever the hell they want. Gotta love it. And yeah, so far I really like this thing. I mean, it's got 16,000 miles on it, which is not exactly ideal for me. I like more low mileage stuff, but this thing rides nice, stops nice, got brand new tires on it, new chain, sprockets, all kinds of new stuff. It was never really beat up. It was owned by an older guy, so quite enjoyable. But yeah, there's Hunter's golf course. So where we're going is right behind the golf course. Kind of a cool little spot. It'll probably be super busy today though, because it's Memorial Day weekend, so we will find out. See what happens. And we even brought the GoPro 7 with us too to get some nice nature shots and see if see how it does. Yeah, I can see cars already. It's gonna be busy up here. That's funny, it looks just like Sherry's car. And it is super duper busy. Tons of people. Alright guys, so we're going to take a quick walk over and we'll show you this spot. don't want to talk too much because then it looks like I'm talking to myself, which is, I cannot vlog in public. It freaks me out. It's quite hysterical though. But here's what we're looking at. Take my helmet off in a second. We'll get some good GoPro footage of it because there's really nobody over here, which is kind of cool. So yeah, guys, there you go. This is Jafrita Park. This is where I used to come. We used to go and hike all the way up to the top of that mountain up there. And you could see Meriden, Wallingford, Southington, Cheshire. It's actually really, really nice up there. So this is looking good. So we're going to pull the GoPro out and take a little bit of footage with that. And yeah, let's do that. No one allowed on dam. Looks oddly ineffective, but yeah, so like I was saying, we used to hike. There's a trail right there in the woods that you probably can't see, but we used to hike all the way up, right on top there, right at that peak, right about there. And you can pretty much see everything. And then if you want, you can keep walking that way and come back down. There's a trail that goes all the way around the lake here. And it's really, really nice. So we used to spend a ton of time here when we were kids. And now that I'm a fat ass, probably can't make it up that mountain anymore. I'm gonna try at some point though, because I do miss it. But yeah, so here we'll get a nice pan of this whole area. It is really super nice out here. Very calming, very relaxing. And in the fall, it looks absolutely incredible. These trees almost look like they're on fire. There's so many cool trees in here. Just a really, really nice place. All right, guys, I hope you enjoyed that video. We just got back from the ride. I'm gonna edit everything now. We're gonna go ahead and edit out some of this footage from the ride. Should be pretty cool. I think you guys will enjoy it. And yeah, so thanks for watching. Please like, comment, hit that subscribe button. Let me know what you think. And yeah, we'll see you guys on the next one. Have a good day.
Yeah.